Bloody hell! I wasn't going to do a video about James Charles and his ways, which is why I'm like a month late to this party. I didn't have much to say on the matter and I thought I'd struggle to make a full video out of it. But since then, all the pubs have reopened, an army of people, all called Josh, have battled it out for ownership of the name. Jake Paul is once again being a weapons-grade moron, and Britain is finally rallying together over a fucking caterpillar cake. I think for one last go, it's time to dust off an old series.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Hi sisters, James Charles here and welcome back to my YouTube channel.
Meet James Charles. Everybody likes James Charles. He's a young guy making his way in the world, rubbing shoulders with some of the elite in his industry. He has a kooky personality, he's a little goofy, but overall, very likeable. Honestly, he's one of the I guess he's kind of greedy, kind of money hungry. God, YouTubers have lost touch. Who the hell do they think that what? Okay, we're past that. Okay, we like him again. So as I was saying, he's very likeable. He's very wholesome. He would never do anything to hurt anyone. I'm sure of... Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, you go, Tatty. Expose this scumbag. What a deviant. Everyone unsubscribe. Destroy his merch.
Bye, sisters.
He's a terrible person. Down with James What? Seriously? Alright, apparently they made all of that up, for fuck's sake. James Charles is innocent again. Resubscribe. Buy more of his merch. We're sorry, James. I promise, we're all on your side now. It's terrible that you've been victimized like that, and we're all here with you. We're on your side. Oh, fuck me, James. James probably wouldn't fuck me. I'm 25 years old, so I'd say I'm a good 10 years above what he normally goes for. James Charles is in trouble again! It's reaching the point now where problematic doesn't seem like a strong enough word. He's had so many scandals at this point. He's got nearly as many apology videos on his channel as I've got subscribers on mine. So, if you want to help me stay ahead of that curve, then feel free to go down there and click subscribe if you're new to the channel. And why don't you drop a like on the video while you're down there? It would help me out. It would help me out a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. So at the start of April, James Charles uploaded a video called Holding Myself Accountable so that he could sit down, he could discuss the fact that he'd been flirting with 16-year-old boys without making excuses, without dodging responsibility. He could just lay it all out there. He then proceeded to sit for 14.5 minutes making excuses and dodging responsibility. So welcome everyone to my top 3 favourite James Charles excuses. Excuse number 1.
It sucks and it is ridiculously embarrassing to admit this, but I think I have to, and that is that I'm desperate.
I mean, it doesn't really excuse you flirting with 16-year-olds, but I guess I can kind of understand getting excited at the attention. Being successful and having 25 million followers doesn't necessarily automatically make you cool and suave. So behind it all, you might still be a bit insecure, a bit self-conscious, a little bit lonely even. It doesn't justify what he's been doing, and I don't want people to mistake my understanding of that feeling to me defending his actions. But I can understand that maybe if you do feel that way, and someone pays attention to you, you might get excited about that and just sort of, you don't entirely think clearly. However,
these conversations should have never happened, and I take full responsibility for that. I trusted the information that was given to me rather than the information I could have and should have gotten myself. In both of these situations, doing research into these people's public social media profiles would have revealed their true ages, and therefore these conversations would have never happened in the first place, but I didn't do the research.
I wouldn't call it research. These people DM'd him on Instagram, and even though it's not there now when I've gone to get a screenshot of it, when I initially looked into all of this, the profile that was talking to James Charles, the profile of this 16-year-old, it very clearly said at the top of his Instagram page, 16, he/him. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but if I was to get a message on Instagram from someone that I don't know, that wasn't a sex bot, or it wasn't spam or sub for sub or any of that shit, the first thing I would do if I'm going to reply to it is go to that person's profile, not to investigate them, not to research them, but just out of curiosity, so that I'm curious who I'm talking to. I mean, it's entirely possible that makes me the weird one here, but I doubt it. But I just think it must go double, triple, it must go so much more for someone with that big a following, someone with 25 million followers, who must get hundreds, if not thousands, of DM requests every day. You don't just see a message in all of that and decide, I'm going to randomly reply to this one. He must have clicked on his profile to make the decision to message him back. And as soon as he did that, he would have seen 16 at the top of the profile. And yes, it's just a number. It didn't explicitly say, I am 16 years old. But if you go to someone's Instagram account and it says 16 at the top of it, I think it's fairly obvious what that means. I'm sorry, but I don't believe for a second that James Charles didn't know how old these people were when he was messaging them. It's not research into something that you could have easily found out. It's something that, like, logically you must have already known. The last thing I want to touch on before we move on to a more light-hearted topic, because I promise this is supposed to be a happy video. The last part that I want to touch on is my absolute favourite part of this video, where he talks about how strange and how crazy it must be for a normal person to talk to a celebrity like the mighty James Charles.
What I wasn't getting before is that the excitement that comes with talking to a celebrity is literally enough to make somebody do or say something that they normally wouldn't, even if that celebrity isn't intentionally weaponizing their fame, money, or power. And that's the concept that I just wasn't getting.
This has fuck all to do with the fact that he's been messaging 16-year-old boys. This is throwing back to what Tati said about him taking advantage of people and trying to manipulate people into doing things that they weren't comfortable with. And yet still, 2 years after all of that, he thought, I know, I'll slip it into this video to just make it seem like I'm a better person. And it just makes him sound even worse. I'm getting some massive Gretchen Wieners vibes from this guy right now.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me. But I can't help it that I'm popular.
I know I've committed a whole bunch of crimes, but I'm famous. I didn't do it intentionally. You little people wouldn't understand. Is it just me who sees this as so incredibly condescending? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm going to move on to a happier subject. Slightly happier, I suppose. Jake Paul won a fight against Ben Askren. How did that happen? It makes no sense to me. Did I watch the fight? No. But I did see a press conference a couple of weeks earlier where Askren literally shrugged off a punch to the ribs. It barely even fazed him. He didn't even flinch. And now all of a sudden, Jake Paul wins the overall fight with him. It makes me wonder how much money is being thrown around just to maintain Jake Paul's ego at this point. Because that's what this is all about. It's egos, it's reputations, and it's a whole lot of fucking money. That's probably why he's only fighting like retired fighters or non-boxers who are being pulled into a sport that they don't specialise in. He actually did say that he would fight Tommy Fury if Tyson played the undercard, because that's going to happen, isn't it? He's perfectly happy throwing challenges out to actual pro boxers, just as long as he attaches some conditions that he knows will never happen, so that then he can be like, oh yeah, I offered him the fight, it's not my fault that he didn't want to do it, it was him that didn't want to do it. That's like me challenging KSI to a boxing match, but only as long as his entire family, including Deji and his dead dog, are there to support the fight. And who's Jake fighting next? I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this, but Kamaru Usman, another MMA fighter whose varied skill set will be limited to Jake's preferred fighting style. He's constantly giving himself the upper hand and then making out like he's the toughest thing in boxing. Would I win in a fight against him? Probably not, so you can keep those comments to yourself, but I'm not out here pretending to be a pro boxer, am I? Here's an idea for Jake. Get into the octagon and have an actual MMA fight with an MMA fighter. That I would pay to see. Calm. Hi. I want to end on something wholesome because Jesus Christ, we fucking need it. The Josh fight actually happened. A meme went viral last year of one guy called Josh messaging all the Joshes he could find and challenging them to a fight for ownership of the name. Probably intended as a joke just to see what would happen, but oh my god, did it pop off. There were hundreds of them. They all swarmed out into the middle of a field armed with fucking pool noodles and just started bapping each other with them. And for the first time in what literally feels like years, no one got hurt, no one got killed, no one got racially abused, and no one diddled any 16-year-old TikTokers. This is the world that we need to live in right here. This is the 2021 that we need. And the most wholesome part of all of it was this young kid nicknamed Little Josh. They used a Burger King crown to crown him victorious, and it was one of the most heartwarming scenes I have seen in a long time. Just look around here. No one's annoyed. No one's competitive. No one's thinking that little shit didn't deserve to win. Everyone here is just completely happy for new King Josh. Don't say it. Don't ruin the moment. Don't say it. Might want to keep him away from James Charles, though. There's still so much that I haven't talked about yet. Prince Philip died. A really posh, expensive supermarket sued a more affordable supermarket for selling a caterpillar cake that looked kind of similar to theirs. And of course, all the pubs are open again, so everyone's been getting nice and wasted. But this video's gone on for long enough. Are you glad to see the return of Nobody Cares, or do you wish it stayed dead and buried? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like when you're down there. Click subscribe as well if you're new around here, and I will see you next time for a brand new video. Bye bye.